Hey, good kind of people. What is up? What is good, y'all? All right, we're going to be starting up in just a couple of seconds here. Want to just give our audiences that's sinking in live enough time to tune on in. So we'll wait about 60 seconds, make sure everything's nice and rolling before we start the show here. Nice little pre-show warm-up. So look, before we start the show officially, I want to make you guys aware of a poll that I have up right now on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab. I've got a poll asking you guys, what would you like to see happen as far as our Tuesday night shows go, because the idea that I'm toying around with right now is we either do two shows on Tuesdays. One of those shows would definitely continue to cover NWA Powerrr, and we would do NXT 2.0. So that's one of your options. We could do two shows on Tuesday nights, and then there's another option where we can just leave it as it is. You guys are pretty much used to me talking about NXT on the Wednesday shows when we're talking about AEW. So it could pretty much just remain the way that it is right now. I believe the other polling option was for, oh God, actually, you know what? Let me actually go back and I can look at it right now for you guys, and I can tell you what all your selections are. But it's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty cut and dry, the poll. So I'm probably going to leave that open for about maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then pretty much go from there. I kind of have an idea what I want to do, but I'm still going to let that poll go. So your feedback is very important. So make sure you sound off and you vote. So yeah, you got four options. You got yes, do two shows on Tuesdays. The second option, no, do one show on Tuesdays, combining the two. Okay. Third option, no, just do NWA on Tuesdays and cover NXT on Wednesday with AEW. So pretty much the way that we've been doing it. And then the last option, don't honestly care. Your Monday and Wednesday shows are fine. Now, you can kind of make an argument that, you know, it's kind of similar to what we just said a little while ago, but it's all good. So I got a fun challenge from the wifey for tonight, because she actually was watching NWA Powerrr Surge with me a few minutes ago. And she, once the episode was done, she just told you she's that casual wrestling fan, right? She's that casual wrestling fan. She says to me, man, I know you like NWA, but I've seen better episodes than this. This episode really wasn't that impressive. And I told her, I said, usually with the Powerrr Surge episodes, it's usually a bunch of recaps, kind of just the totality of everything that's happened on Powerrr in recent weeks. They pretty much just pack it into one nice little bite-sized edition of Powerrr Surge, and you'll get a couple of new bonus matches here and there, but she really wasn't that impressed with what she saw tonight. Me, I don't think I won't say she was trying to be harsh. I think she was just honestly just sounding off. She was just being honest. I'm sure if I were to maybe pick her brain a little bit more on what aspects she didn't find appealing, I'm quite sure maybe we would kind of match up. But I know for me personally, just kind of looking back on the past few episodes of Surge that we've gotten in recent months, not really the strongest, but I felt what they lacked in, they kind of made up for with some of the matches that they had gave us tonight. So fun challenge from the wifey. She said to me, look, this was what, a 45-minute episode? I said, yeah. She said, okay, so you should be able to make your point and be in and out, especially if you don't really have any news going on. You should be in and out in about 15 minutes. I said, is that a challenge? She goes, yeah, let's see what you can do. So we're going to see what we can do in about 15 minutes. Not 15, 16, 17 minutes. No. We're going to see if we can make our point in about 15 minutes. So we'll see how this goes. And honestly, if this is good, you all will like this? You feel I hit all the marks in like 15 minutes? Maybe we can start honestly doing all our NWA shows like this in 15 minutes tops. So, look, the matches were good. Honestly, I get that NWA. Here's where I kind of had a little bit of a problem with the episode, and it was really just in one area. I get that NWA has this partnership that they got going on with the podcast guys that usually do the post show form and all that. And, I think it's really cool. I think it's really admirable that NWA is trying to do everything they can to try to help give that podcast more exposure and everything. It's a hand to hand type of relationship, right? NWA is scratching their back and in return, right? So it is a great partnership, honestly. But when you have these people that most NWA fans are not accustomed to, sure, they may see the little commercial joints letting them know who the guys are, what their show is, and everything. But not everybody is just gonna go flocking to see these guys and all that. So I think it's definitely important going forward that if this is going to continue to be an institution where we're going to be having I think it's the This Is Pro Wrestling guys, if we're going to continue to have these these guys from the show be a stapleton on NWA shows, then it definitely wouldn't hurt to have these guys kind of introduce themselves to the audiences rather than just everybody assumes that they know who they are and all of that. So, and also the other thing that I didn't like, I kind of felt that some of the interviews were a little bit too drawn out. Now, I remember asking some of the guys in the Discord and on forums that actually check out their show. And I had asked, which of the three guys, which one of them is the most strongest? Which one of them has the most banging of a personality? And sadly, I can't remember the name of the guy right now. It's not Gary, the one that was doing the interviews, some of the interviews for this week. It's not Gary. It's the other guy that I think he's nicknamed himself Doctor or something of that nature. He comes off like potentially a pretty good heel. I think that's the one that maybe honestly NWA going forward should try to spend a little bit more time having him be the hype man, letting him be the one that's doing the interviews because he has more personality and all of that. I honestly, after about maybe 2 minutes, I was just kind of tuned out and everything. And it's kind of sad. I don't like saying that, but I mean, I think it's definitely important that we be honest and hopefully constructive feedback, like what we're providing right here will definitely somehow make its way, channel its way to those in NWA so they can just kind of fine tune it a little bit more and everything. I thought that, not for nothing, but I did think that what Gary did do on this episode, everything that was presented to him as far as his bullet points go and all of that, I thought he did pretty good. I'll definitely give him that. I thought he did pretty good. I don't know if there could just maybe a little bit more pizzazz in the personality, just kind of be a little bit more energetic. I think that would kind of be better and it would really help the flow of the show because it just felt like you were watching a show within a show, but the show that you were watching within the show wasn't really good, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I know it kind of does when you really just kind of take a step back and then if push comes to shove and you have to hit the pause button and rewind back, do that. But I know saying it like that makes a lot of sense to you guys for sure. So let's talk about some of the in-ring action that we had got on this episode as well. There was a couple of more interviews that we had got, but we'll talk a little bit more about the interviews here. Colby Carino defeated Marshe Rocket. That actually was a pretty good matchup. Nice for your Power Surge opener. I love how they had Colby Carino booked in this match as they had him going in there like a little rabid Wolverine. And it's so funny, I'm thinking about Wolverine too, because Wolverine, one of my favorite Marvel characters, but just watching him wrestle on this week's Power Surge, it was like watching him just piece by piece disseminate his opponent. He was just deconstructing them from the ground up. And I love the fact that early on in this match, you saw Marche Rocket favoring his leg, and you're looking at that, you're going, that's a freaking bullseye. That is money right there for Colby Carino. He smells blood. You know he's going to go in on it. And I love the psychology that they laid out for Colby going in on that leg, the chop blocks, the innovative ways he was getting in some submission holds. I mean, you want to talk about some really badass technical moves I've never seen before, quite honestly. And I've pretty much seen just about all there is. He did some innovative stuff in there that kind of made me go, yeah, you know what? Maybe you should make that be part of your new repertoire. Make that be part of your move set going forward, because I really like some of the stuff he was laying out there on this week's episode. But Corino, it's funny too, because all of that stuff that he was doing, the whole psychology, the way the match was broken down, and yet when it counted the most, that's not how Colby won. Colby pretty much won by getting a fistful of tights, nice dirty full of tights, getting the roll up. Ref didn't see the handful of tights, getting the 3 count that way. Colby Carino picking up the dub. So I like the fact that we had Colby pick up this win. And then, not to mention, remember one of the last times that we saw Colby, he's got that match that's going to be coming up, if I'm not mistaken, on next week's Power, or sometime in the next couple of weeks. He's going to be taking on him, and I'm trying to remember who he's supposed to be teaming up with. I can't think of his tag partner right now, but he's supposed to be teaming up with somebody to take on the Hawks, father and son. So we talked about that. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I know you guys are kind of looking at this episode, and you may be looking at this episode a little bit out of order. If you're curious what I had thought about last week's NWA Powerrr, that episode was recorded. I just have not gotten around to uploading it, but since I've got some free time after I'm done with this show, going into Wednesday, I will upload that episode. I'll make it as a scheduled premiere. That way, anybody that's maybe around Wednesday afternoon, you want to hang out, you want to throw a little bit of comments in the chat, I'll be around. I'll be able to interact with you live and all of that. But I remember talking about it on that show, about that tag match that's going to be coming up. So made a lot of sense to see Colby come out of this with the dub, seeing as how that tag match is going to be coming up right around the corner. Meanwhile, we talked a little bit about the interviews at the beginning there. Jax Dane was interviewed talking about the broken partnership there with Crimson. He admitted that when it was all said and done, everything that's happened between him and Crimson that's led up to this point, he's not all at fault, as there were a couple of times during his tag partnership with Crimson left him hanging a couple of times. And his number one rule is never leave your wingman behind. That is Jax Dane's number one rule. And to his point, when he saw that Crimson had entered into the championship series without even communicating to him that he was going to enter the series, he honestly felt betrayed. He felt, I won't say heartbroken, because that's not exactly the words that he used, but that Robert De Niro, I think he hurt his feelings just a little bit. A little bit. It definitely hurt his feelings a little bit. And so he came right back by entering the tournament as well and everything. He also addressed what went down there with that scuffle with Matt Murdock from last week. As far as he was concerned, he said, hey, go back, watch the tape. You'll see with your own 2 eyes. I did not put my hands on Trevor Murdock. Trevor Murdock, he put his hands on me. He was just supposed to be there officiating. But now he's trying to stop me from getting in my hits, getting, the problems that I'm having with Crimson. That's just between me and Crimson. Murdock's putting his nose in my business. He's touching me. Come on now. And then he actually doubled down on that. He also followed up on something Murdock had said from last week, when Murdock said, I'm aware I'm the champion, and there's a locker room of people in the back there that honestly, let's be for real. At some point, someone that's bigger and badder is gonna come along and take this title away from me. So Jax Dane looked at that as a message being sent to him directly, as if it wasn't sent to him directly, then who exactly was that message meant for? So he is definitely feeling pretty salty about Trevor Murdoch right now. Of course, the question is asked, when is he going to be cashing in his championship series opportunity? He did not elaborate. You know, that seems to be the hot button question every time we turn around, which is when you going to cash in. And it's kind of one of those, it's like the Tootsie Roll Pop. The world may never know. You think you know, but no, it's just. So I like how we're just continuing to string this along. What we do know is in the very near future for Jax Dane, NWA's By Any Means Necessary pay-per-view event. It's going to be on Fight TV, and he's going to be facing Crimson inside a steel cage. So that's the only match that we know that's available right now to talk about. I'm sure as we get a lot closer, because we're pretty much over a month away, obviously as we get closer, we're going to learn a lot more about these matches that's going to be making the full card for this pay-per-view event. But again, NWA is presenting By Any Means Necessary. It's going to be happening on Fight TV on October 24th. Meanwhile, Kamille did an interview with Joe Galli, talked a lot more about why she did what she did to Melina. She basically was tired of hearing all the trash talking, and she's been hearing a lot of trash talking, a lot of chatter about her in the back. And she just got to that point, just the totality, just constantly hearing the trash talking that was being done about her. It just got to a point where she bowled over, and that's why she did what she did to Melina. Galli kept bringing up the fact, hey, don't you think it would have made all the sense in the world to just go in the middle of the ring and plead your case that way and squash it that way? But Kamille, yeah, she didn't apologize. She pretty much was, no, the crap that I've constantly been hearing, I just had enough, and that's why I reacted the way that I reacted. Question was also asked if she looked at Melina as a threat. She said, hell no. To the point, when was the last time Melina even won a match? She feels that as far as a challenge goes for her title, her women's title, yeah, sure, whatever. Means she'll shut her up some more. Cool. So officially, the gauntlet's been laid out. Anytime Melina wants to bounce, she's more than welcome to jump on out there. One of my favorite matches of the night, Sky Blue. Sky Blue was in action as she was in a triple threat match, and she defeated Tootie Lynn and Thunder Kitty. Good matchup. I actually put this on mute because I got a little bit taken back by the commentating that was going on about Thunder Kitty and how they were going over the whole, she's 100 years old and all this other. I just kept chuckling, and I just wanted to focus on the in-ring action. So I actually had to put the TV on mute so I could just really kick back there and just take in all the action. Yo, Sky Blue is really growing on me, I gotta say. Sky Blue is really, not only is Sky Blue cute as a button, but sister is pretty damn solid in the ring. And I tell you what, when you're just going further down the road as far as future NWA women's champions, you of course would like to put Kylie Ray on that list at the very top, but right up under, you're looking at somebody like Sky Blue. You definitely got to show her a lot of love and some props and have her right up under there as well. If you're just kind of thinking about it from okay, who's going to be that baby face that could eventually be built up to maybe take the title away from Kamille? And you definitely got to put Sky Blue in that category. I personally feel she's coming along, man. I'm telling you, I'm really feeling Sky Blue. If there's anybody that really just catches my eye right now to the point where I'm saying, yo, this is a person you want to be watching, because within the next 3 to 5 years, this person She's probably going to be on the mouths of a lot of wrestling fans, of a lot of podcasts. She's probably going to be ranking kind of high in the PWI joints for the women and all that. Sky Blue is definitely somebody you don't want to be falling asleep on. You want to be paying attention to her. Trevor Murdoch was interviewed as well. Trevor Murdoch just basically following up to what he had said on the recent couple of episodes of Powerrr. Obviously, now that he's the champion, the hunt is on, and he's the prey. He doesn't really have to do anything. He has the championship. He's at the top of the mountain. The challenges are coming to him. He doesn't have to. It's the other way around. So it's pretty much a rinse and repeat of what he's already been saying. Nothing really new here to take away from this interview that he had did. And again, this was with the This Is Pro Wrestling guys. Main event match for NWA Powerrr Surge. Mims defeating Black G's. That was about 2 minutes, maybe. Now I'll say about maybe 4 minutes. Let me not jip it too much. It was probably about 4 minutes of a matchup. Okay, you know, it was all right. Kind of predictable, honestly. I mean, you're looking at Mims, you're looking at Black G's, you're kind of going, well, this is kind of, although what would have been a nice little swerve, honestly, what would have been a nice little swerve is if what's my boy's name, Jordan Clearwater, if maybe he would have gotten involved, or hell, maybe even Austin Idol, because remember what we've been seeing the past couple of weeks on Powerrr between Black G's, my man Danny Deals, Austin Idol. There seems to be this whole little, that like they're tight. You know, like there's some type of a business arrangement with them and all of that. You know, if you really wanted to make this really interesting, just kind of having somebody else pop up and just kind of put the screws there to Mims, I totally would have been down with that. But the fact that we didn't get anything like that, it was just kind of, well, this was essentially, they tried to make it look a little competitive, but squash match when it's all said and done. It was nothing but a squash match. But that pretty much was NWA Powerrr Surge for this week. So we didn't do too bad, right? That was about, you know, I think the actual talk of Powerrr Surge was probably what? We did about maybe 5 minutes of an introduction there, of a nice little warm up, right? So I mean, we did pretty good. I think I'll make the wifey happy, you know. I think we did good. What do you think? I think we did good. If we can kind of be done at about this mark on future shows, I think that's good. I think the only reason why the shows go a little bit longer is because normally there's a bunch of NWA news that we have to cover. And so that's why a lot of times we get about 35 minutes, 40 minutes of an episode. But this week, really, it's been very quiet. Really, nothing else has been going on since last we were on the air with you guys. So, look, quick programming note. Wednesday, I'll be back with you guys. Big night for AEW. They're going to be doing their thing at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. And as you guys know, that listen to the Monday show. By the way, if you haven't checked out Monday's show, go out of your way, check out Monday's RCWR show. Talked at great length, looked in so many directions about the plane ride from hell episode of Dark Side of the Ring. I've seen some of the feedback that's been coming in so far, and it's been very positive. So go check that out when you guys get a chance if you haven't already. I will actually have the audio version of that episode be available within the next hour. So go to wherever you get your podcasts. Definitely by midnight, it will be available on that respected platform. But Wednesday, we'll be live right here covering AEW Fallout. We'll also talk about some key points from Tuesday night's NXT 2.0. Going to be a good show. Meanwhile, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. And as you get ready to make your exit, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, really helps spread the word about our content, puts more eyeballs on the product. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And until next go around, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll catch you guys this Wednesday. Y'all take care.